My name is Zach Mills, and I am the executive chef and partner at True Chesapeake Oyster Co. So I'm from Maryland. I grew up on the water, and coming up kind of cooking in a very food-centric family. Oysters very quickly became part of my life, and then as I became a chef, they've always been one of my favorite ingredients and something near and dear to my heart. I think as a chef, especially nowadays, but kind of always, our goal should be to cook as sustainably as possible. And so that ties into to the oyster industry very well as far as understanding the process of farm-raised oysters and about the right ways how they do things, and vice versa with the wild industry. Just kind of understanding all of that is really important as a chef.
My name is Nick Shawman. I am the chief head shucker and partner of the Local Oyster and True Chesapeake Oyster Company. I grew up eating oysters. I had my first oyster when I was about 2 years old. At Lexington Market, a couple blocks up the road. I've been eating them ever since. We always used to get a bushel of oysters on special occasions, anniversaries, Thanksgiving, New Year's Eve, and it was just always like the highlight of the day. So started shucking oysters to kind of help pay the bills every once in a while, and that turned into a thing, and now they are my life. So oysters have taken me a long way. We only serve farm-raised oysters. We all grew up eating wild oysters, and as most of us well know now, there aren't a whole lot of them left. So we do our part. We grow our oysters in southern Maryland, and part of the deal is to let people understand and know where their food's coming from. So, like when I started doing this about 10 years ago, people would say oysters, and that was it. And now the first thing everyone says is, where are these oysters from? And it's neat to tell them that we grow them ourselves. It's good for the bay, it's good for the farm.
I think the biggest issue is understanding that wild-caught oysters are not always the best option for the health of the industry, as well as the health of the Chesapeake Bay and other tributaries. I think that's something that the understanding of that's super important.
I think the challenge is, back to what I said earlier, is to let people understand and know where their food's coming from, and why it's important to do what we do, as well as recycling shell. We work with the Oyster Recovery Partnership. When we were starting about 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, something like that, I think there were 9 restaurants recycling shells, and now there's well over 400. The restaurant industry is not easy at all, but if you bring a really quality product to the table, you really don't have to do much to it. I mean, the advantage of having our own oyster farm is that, we are actually a farm-to-table restaurant. Not many other places actually have their own farm. So Quality and freshness obviously is a big deal for us.
I think the more your average guest can understand sustainability and why restaurants use certain ingredients and don't use other ingredients, I think those are just the education of the food industry as a whole is something that we try to kind of impart a little bit without being overbearing.
You know, everyone wants to know where their food's coming from now. So the challenge is creating awareness and, you know, reminding everyone that they have to do their part to ensure that the Chesapeake Bay will be around for our grandchildren.